joining me. In this Healthy Nevada video, you will learn how to change consent within HIE Web Access. To do so, you will first need to have created a username and password through a provisioning email sent to you directly in your email inbox. Once you have signed in to the HIE Web Access, you will need to go into the Optum HIE 2.0 tile. Once the tile is opened, you will need to select the organization in which you are looking up the patient for. In order to access patient consent, you will need to go to the Consent tab. The last name and first name of the patient is required. You can also add additional information to provide a more accurate search return. Once the patient has been located, you can click on the patient's last name. The patient's last name will then take you to the consent preferences on file. If the consent has already been set, you do not have to do anything else. If the consent is not on file, you would need to add a consent preference and or if the consent option needed to be changed. The first selection will be what type of access the patient has selected. So if the patient has selected yes or no, you will want to make that choice here. This choice should coincide with the choice given on the consent form. It is very important when you are in the target organization section to select all organizations. If you choose specific organization, that means that only that organization would have access to the patient records. Healthy Nevada consent applies to all organizations. Consent given on. You will want to enter the date that the patient has signed the consent form. Consent given at. You will want to check the location that the patient has given consent, so your organization's name. Requested start date can also be the date that the consent was given on. Requested end date. As of now, consent does not have an expiration date. You can leave this field blank. Once you have completed those fields at the very bottom, you will check the box to certify that you have received authorization to modify that patient's consent preferences. Select Save. You would now be able to access the patient's records anytime needed for medical treatment. If the patient had not been added or was not displaying in the web access, you would need to add that patient. You would do so by clicking the link to add patient. And first you would need to type in the last name, first name, the patient's date of birth, and you would want to enter in as much information as you have available to you. Be sure to enter the patient's gender. So contact type, preferred, and the street address, the city, and the state, as well as the zip code. There is also some additional demographic information down here below. This is optional. Select Save. Once the patient has been successfully added, you will receive the notification on your screen. And that is how you can add a patient and how you can add a consent preference for the patient. If you have additional questions, you can contact us at hielearning@healthinsight.org.